awesome episode of the Super
Fun
Time
Show.
We don't know where Tyler is. I think he's on his way, or he might be behind a wildebeest or something like that. But it's going to be a great show. We have a special guest on tonight. In my opinion, highly acclaimed author.
Also brand new
author, Craig Walston.
Heck yeah, and he's going to talk to us about his brand new book that they just got the money to publish. It's called The Grimoire's Heir.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, kind of fantasy, adventure.
Nice.
Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
Wow.
I don't want to put too many words in his mouth. We'll talk to him about it. He'll tell us
definitely.
exactly what he thinks.
Oh, I can't wait for this. I'm so excited to have him on. Like, it's interesting to have a local gentleman like this that is working really hard to put his name out there and put also very highly registered work, what he is putting out there in the world and getting so pushed and so much support, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that we can talk about that before he gets on. But, he did a GoFundMe, and he made that money really quick.
Wow.
So that's great.
How much did they raise?
Over $2,800.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot.
It's awesome. But, yeah, man, what else has been on your mind this week?
Nothing much. I got a bug. Before I didn't even get to celebrate New Year's. I came home from work and it hit me. It hit me like the Dickens, and I was just, my girlfriend was cough syrup the whole entire night. Like, I just, and then on top of that.
Yeah, you told me that you were chugging a little bit of NyQuil.
Yes.
And then you were saying you were having crazy dreams.
Yes.
Which I feel like those things go hand in hand.
Yes. Every time I laid on my bed, it would be these dreams of me like trapped in the world of GTA and everything was plastic. And I didn't like that. It was scary because it was a numb feeling. Like, I was scared, like something was going to actually happen to me. But all around me, all these sick things are happening around me, and it's unfolding around me. And it was just, eventually, I kind of just went, sat on my chair, at my comfortable chair in the front room, and they stopped happening for some reason. I don't know why it was that I was not having these dreams while I was in the chair.
I don't know. Maybe you were more asleep the other times or not as asleep.
Well, the NyQuil kind of also knocked me out too, because that's what NyQuil does.
Yeah, it really does. That's exactly what it does.
And one of the funniest things about this whole thing was I got it on DoorDash.
You got NyQuil on DoorDash?
Yeah, I got it at the drugstore.
Awesome.
And they ID'd me.
They got to make sure you're 18.
I'm like, I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, I'm 33." And she's like, "Well, they do it with alcohol also." And I'm like, okay.
Well, it's something that could be abused. So.
Well, I have never seen anybody go to rehab because I'm addicted to cough syrup.
It might happen, man. Who knows?
I got the squirms because I'm on the cough syrup.
I'm on the cough syrup.
My name's Jimmy, and I need some cough syrup.
How many times? Wow, I guess it is a thing.
What's that?
Because it has codeine in it.
Oh, jeez.
So, I guess we maybe shouldn't even talk about this.
My bad.
But like when people talk about like lean and purple drink, it's like with cough syrup. So,
oh, damn.
Yeah, there's a hilarious episode of the Sarah Marshall show.
Really?
Is that her name? I'm killing. No, it's not Sarah Marshall.
Not Sarah Marshall. All that?
No, dude. She's a famous actress and comedian. Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman, yeah, she's a...
Forgetting Sarah Marshall got in my head. No, Sarah Silverman.
Oh, she's a wonderful
She had
actress.
a show, and one of the episodes she was robo-tripping, which is she drank a ton of cough syrup and then didn't go to sleep. And it was just tripping her balls off, and it's very funny.
Remember, folks, just to remind you, when you have that little cup with your cough syrup, just use that. Fill it to the top. Okay? That's all. Or the measuring. I do it like a shot. I fill up like it's a big shot. And I just go bam, and I just go to bed.
I think that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Really?
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
Dude, it was cool. We went to a town close by here, Marion. They do a thing called the Nugget Drop for the New Year.
Nice.
And it was funny. They had like a scavenger hunt that you could do, and they had a prize for the team that won.
Really?
And, yeah, it was sick. We didn't win. We tried pretty hard, though. We had to, like, one of them was have a cop put you in the back of a cop car, which was a little unnerving. There was have a thumb wrestle with a firefighter or a city like a city worker.
Wow.
Yeah, so they had all this random stuff you had to do. Take pictures in front of different bars and things like that. But it was super fun. It was like added a whole nother element to the celebration of New Year's.
That sounds fun, man. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to that. Like, I was like bummed out. I was
You were robo tripping.
Yeah, I was robo tripping all day, all through New Year's.
That is funny, man.
I didn't take my last bit of cough syrup until the ball dropped, and I was like, you know what? I'm done watching this. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. I like Green Day's old content. They're great. They're a great band.
Okay.
But their new content, frig it. I'm done with it.
Okay.
What they did at New Year's Rocking Eve, that was ridiculous.
I agree. So, Tommy, I had this idea.
Oh, yummy.
That we do this for our interviews.
So you're going to spin a dial, and then once it lands, I'm going to ask him that question.
Yeah. You want to do it, and we'll answer some of the questions right now?
Sure.
Just for fun?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We'll run it. Let's run it. All right. You gotta tell a secret, man.
Tell a secret?
Yeah.
Pass.
Why? You can't pass and then expect our our guests to do it.
Sometimes I don't change my socks off and on.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right, here, I'll do one now. Let's see. Okay, Freaky Friday. So as if you could Freaky Friday with someone, who would it be?
Donald Trump.
Hey, this was supposed to be for me to answer, but all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
No, do it again. Do it again.
No, it's all right. I would probably Freaky Friday with whoever was president at the time.
Oh, God.
Just to know. Like, how fun would that be? I would watch that movie.
Yes.
I would definitely watch that movie. But yeah, so we got all these. There's a bunch of different ones. It'll be a good time. We'll get that taken care of. It'll be fun. So what else you been doing?
Just been mostly chilling, watching TV, hanging out, recovering.
Yeah, what did you watch that was good?
Seinfeld. Basically, I've been just watching old episodes of Seinfeld, and then going back to watching the Larry Sanders Show, which I think is a very entertaining show.
Yeah.
And just kind of going back and forth and watching TikToks. I don't know what it is. I'm addicted to TikTok.
You sure are.
And
I still don't really like it.
I just use it as an entertainment platform, honestly. That's all I use TikTok for. I don't use it for any other reasons besides entertainment.
What other reasons are there?
Political or, business-wise. Like, I have fun with it. I don't make money off of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I don't know. TikTok has always kind of struck me as strange. Personally, I think it's a weird place.
And you're probably wondering, why do I sound like this?
No, we know why. You said you were sick.
Well, I'm very congested right now.
Well, yeah. that's to be expected.
Most definitely.
So let's talk about other things that are coming up. What do we need? If you want to call in at any time.
Oh, most definitely call in, talk with us. We're definitely would love to hear from you, and we just love having a good time, and we hope to hear from you.
And so there's the number right up there. We always go the wrong way. And you can follow us on Instagram at the Super Fun Time Show. Some people like to call in through there. Oh, cool. Craig's here. Hey, Craig. Can you hear me? Hey, Craig. We're going to bring you in right now, all right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Craig.
What's up?
Not much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you also, sir.
Let's get you in here.
Let's get this party started.
Yup.
You know who Craig kind of looks like a little bit?
Do you want to? Okay, we'll just bring him right in, just like that.
Yeah, hit me.
He looks like Steve Carell.
Okay.
Ooh, I'll accept that. I was a raft guide over the summer, and I was rafting for a bunch of teenagers, and I got Adam Sandler and Mac from It's Always Sunny, and I was like, okay, sure.
Hey, there's much worse.
Yeah.
I'm the trash man.
Ooh, I caught you with an edge.
So we were really excited to talk to you about the book, man. Again, author of the Grimoire's Heir.
The Grimoire's Heir.
It's from the artwork that I've seen and the little bit of reading that you shared of Rachel doing it, your wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see what you come up with and how the book turns out. I'm excited to read it.
Thank you very much. It's been a many-year effort, and multiple times when I was, 100 pages in, I looked over it and I was like, well, this is bad and you should delete it. And my wife said, that's what editors are for. They'll fix all of that and you shouldn't delete it. And then I ended up finishing.
Yes.
And I'll see.
That's great. So
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, a quick sneak peek about what the book's about.
So I met somebody a few years ago that seemed to genuinely think and process through the world differently than I did in every metric. And without sounding too mean, he seemed like an alien who was also a human. And I kind of said to myself, what if there was a world where people from different places were genuinely and at their core different, but we were still also the same. And so I kind of started from that. And then I had a fun idea of what if knowledge actually was power? What if the knowledge that you had in your head over, let's say, the rain cycle, the more you knew about precipitation, the more you knew about water molecules, what if that meant that you could also have a degree of command over those things?
Ooh.
And so it's kind of a blend of science nerds get to wield that science knowledge. And so I'm a big, huge nerd, and I always thought to myself, man, these guys and girls will spend their whole life learning how a black hole works.
Yeah.
And then they'll try and explain it to a dummy like me. And I just see them working downward, all right, what can I tell him that he might understand? Because they're so far above me, and I was like, what if that had physical manifestations? And so that's where the Grimoire's Heir, that's where it starts, I suppose. So I have a section of the population that are those people, but I quickly expand on that as well, where what if the people who have total mastery over their physical bodies, there seem to be people you meet that can just do things that regular people can't, not superheroes, but you meet a guy that runs 50 miles and
yeah.
and he's still not that winded afterwards. And so I was like, all right, so what if part of the population is the people who understand the scientific world, and what if there's people that like are the physical type, and then what if there's like artists, and so what if like
Nice.
magic kind of draws from all of these specializations, and so that's where it started. Well, that's kind of like where I a lot of it came from.
Yeah.
And but real quick, I want to ask you guys just a curious question.
Okay.
When you heard the name, or when you read the name of my book, did
Yes.
you know what the word grimoire is?
Well, I
I won't
thought
be.
I understood because I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we would search for a grimoire, and it was
Yep.
always like a tome,
Yeah.
right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. There's I've played a bunch of video games where the word grimoire shows up, and it's slightly different depending on
Yeah.
where you're at. But I found out grimoires are real
What?
in a sense.
Okay.
Like there's not, but like I was looking it up and I was researching it, and they're like, look at this old cleric's grimoire from like the year 900, and it looks like something messed up is inside that book, and like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's like officially it's an old book of arcane knowledge, like truly like out there stuff back when they were just throwing science at the wall, and they're like, God did that, sure. Like,
Yeah.
like when they had no idea what was happening. And so I was like, I love the idea of like a super creepy, weird old book that when you open it up and you're reading it and you don't understand what you're reading.
Yeah.
When
You
I was
mean like the Nepracon?
a lot like that.
There you go.
Plateau, Verata.
Russian.
So I had a roommate in college that was in a class called organic chemistry,
Yeah.
and he asked me to help him study. And I opened this book up, and I was reading it to him, and like I know the best words. I know words.
Yeah.
But like I was reading it, but I had no idea what it meant put together. And so I was like, "Are you getting this? Because I'm not." And he goes, "Oh yeah, keep reading." And so that's kind of like where I started with the grimoire of
Very
like,
cool.
yeah, it's about a young man who has this book show up, and he
Oh.
realizes that it's the key to like he knows about these people that wield scientific knowledge and that they're essentially wizards.
Yes.
They call them embers in my book. And he was like, oh, I like any little boy that watches a superhero and wants to be them. When he cracks open this book, he's like, oh, I'll just read this and learn what they've learned, and I'll be like them. And his first read, he's like, I have no idea what I just read.
Yeah. So
And
you're like taking that real like life experience of that feeling and moving it in a little bit more like a imaginative realm. That's amazing.
yeah. And so
My bad.
it's kind of like he's given keys to nuclear type of knowledge where he can make a lot of insanity happen with this.
Sweet.
And he's just bumbling through it, but he knows that if people found out that he has this grimoire, like it's supposed to be delivered to its heir, and he is definitely not its heir.
Oh.
And well, according to him, like he has no father or grandfather that would give this to him.
Yeah.
And so he sees it as his opportunity to be able to grasp this knowledge and become a part of this ruling class of people.
That's really cool.
But he has to study it in secret. You know, I always thought like, you know, what if you found a lightsaber and you could be a Jedi, but nobody's going to teach you? It's like, all right, I'm going to go to a cave and figure this junk out.
Yeah. That sounds really fun, man. That sounds like a great setup for an epic adventure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It went through a lot of iterations.
Now, the kid in the book, he's based off your son, am I right?
He is. It turns out a few of them are based off. There's the main kid. His name is Huxley. I actually have twin boys, and just like so many characters, he has aspects of my son Caden, and then he has aspects of my son Caleb.
Oh.
And so I put them together.
Yeah.
And originally I was going to try and do twins, but it was really hard. Maybe a better author could have done it, but I was like getting them mixed up.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
yeah, and there's a girl on the cover. Her name is Elytris, and she's sort of my my agent of chaos in a narrative sense, like when she gets involved with things. And so it's certainly my daughter Coraline.
Yeah.
When I didn't know like what to do next with her, I was like, what would Cora do here?
That's fun.
And yeah, so I couldn't help but just write it that way. And
So you're saying when you were writing the book and drawing it, you had like individual people like sit in your office and you were asking them questions like, what would you do in this situation?
well, to be clear, I did not draw it. There's two young ladies I know named Gabriella Grullion and Olivia Parsons,
Hmm.
and they are both phenomenal artists. And I asked Gabby to do the cover, and Olivia had been like my beta reader because she's like right in the age demographic of what I was going for. And so she would read me a couple of chapters and then she would send me like, hey, I drew this. And I wasn't like expecting that at all. I'm like, that is what Huxley looks like. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so like when it was getting time to like produce this, I messaged them and I said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing more like official artwork for it? I mean, I'm no artist. So, yeah.
With a pen, just not with the brush.
With a pen, that is true. There's lots of embarrassing drawings that exist of my own, but I wouldn't print them.
How do you think you would fare playing Pictionary?
So I've fared well doing Pictionary,
Okay.
but not because of artistic talent.
Okay.
It's because of random nonsense. And
Little deals.
the answer is well, but not for the reasons I should be.
I get it.
Do you think this book would be good for a Monopoly, to be made into Monopoly?
That is a very I think I have enough locations.
Yes.
I think I have enough characters. I introduce a different kind of currency called clips that I just thought was fun. And so I guess if we could use clips in Monopoly, then yes, I think maybe that could work.
Wow.
Yeah, you could always do any sort of game, card game, something like that too.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually wrote into the story a board game that they play.
Yes.
Called Ballistics and Bureaucrats. And
Yeah.
and so it's two towns attacking each other with catapults.
Oh, jeez.
And so there's like a kinesthetic part of the game where you're actually like they're firing it,
Yeah.
and they're setting fires and poisoning each other's like town. And so the bureaucrats are charged with fixing it.
Wow.
And so it's both an offensive and defensive game. And
Very
so they're like, every now and then they're like, you want to play ballistics and bureaucrats?
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, because he loves board games.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, is that fair to say?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's one of my other dreams is to like make a board game happen.
Very
Well,
cool.
hey, we would love to see this happen. And by the way, congratulations on your successful campaign on raising money to get the book produced.
Thank you. That was the most nerve-wracking part.
Sure.
I knew that I had a quality like product to offer, but for some reason in my head, whenever I'm doing this, it felt that like I was like on the street, like, you want to read a story? Give me $10, like it felt like weird. And there's an author that I love to death, and he did a Kickstarter, and I knew there was like no shame in it,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I don't know, for whenever I'm doing my thing, I was like, people are going to be like, oh, look at this grown man asking for money for like,
I don't know.
but yeah.
I thought it was cool. And
Well, Craig, I'm an author myself. I have 2 comic books underneath my belt, and the young lady that produced it is my friend Deborah Abbott.
Really
Yes, and it's on Amazon for sale.
interesting.
yeah.
I thought so I've known you by virtue of being a Black Mountain person, and 15 years ago you and I chatted briefly.
Really?
I don't expect you to remember it.
I apologize.
It might have been, it was right before Dark Knight Rises came out.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
it's okay. I was champing to talk to somebody about it, and you and I walked past each other, and I think you had a Batman shirt on, and like I'm
Sounds
a
right.
chatter, so me and you chatted, and my wife was like, I feel like if I didn't pull you two away, you would have gone like deep into it.
That's
And I
good.
was like, it wasn't until later that I was like, oh, I've seen that guy before. Like, and then I saw you on Tosh, and my mind was blown, and I was like, oh,
He's like, I met a celebrity.
yeah, I was like, wow.
He's in my backyard. Now get out of my backyard.
He's wandering around Black Mountain.
I mean, yeah, it was cool. I was like, I talked Batman with him.
Heck yeah. Yeah, obviously big
You-
Batman fan over here.
You really wanted Robin to show up in Dark Knight Rises, and you kind of got it, and you kind of didn't. I didn't get to meet up with you back again about that, but because you were like, I really hope Robin shows up. And then when I finally saw it, I'm like, he kind of did, but I don't think it was what you were wanting. But
They teased it. They kind of like, they were like, Gucci, 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 Gucci. It's just like,
yeah,
oh, here it is. Ta-da! Rising up, the camera zooms in, and it's like, you turd munchers.
it was a bummer, but also kind of neat. But also, yeah, I was like, well, the movie's over. Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
No, it's good.
No, man. It's interviews about you and, just the awesomeness that is you, dude.
Yeah, and it's cool for
Whoa.
people to get to know about you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so, I was wondering, there has to be other books that you've read. Do you have any like specific authors or like book series or books that stand out to you that like
Yes.
you've read maybe often?
Yes. So there's an author named Brandon Sanderson that you may or may not know. He's one of those authors that, in his lane of genre, he is like the ultimate celebrity. Where like if you talk to anybody about fantasy or sci-fi and you mention Brandon Sanderson, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he is to me the creative mind of like the fantasy genre that like of our generation or whatever. Like if Tolkien was the one that brought elves, orcs, all of it into like the mainstream,
Yeah.
then like I think he'll be the one that's talked about for many years. He wrote a book called Mistborn, and and that was like a friend of mine came over and he just put the book like on my chest and he said, read this, you're gonna like it. And sure enough, I did. And what I liked, what's so grabbing about him, and that's what I'm trying to do in the Grimoire's Heir. I think I succeed, but it's also comparing myself in the same conversation to Brandon is ridiculous, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
So Brandon Sanderson, he scratched an itch that I didn't know that I had, where the term is called a hard magic system. And by that, I mean, a lot of times when you're watching or reading or whatever fantasy, and there's somebody with a magical ability of some kind,
Yeah.
in your brain, you kind of start thinking about like, what are the rules of this? And so, like, example in Harry Potter, which I love, that's more of what they call a soft magic system, where theoretically Harry all day could just sit with his wand and just be casting spells. And like, does he get out of breath? Does he get tired? And someone's like, isn't it his moral obligation to power a giant turbine and give free energy to the world if he can just be doing this? I just think about stuff like that. I'm like, well, what makes him so powerful or not?
Yeah.
And so Sanderson, he writes, like, one of his like rules is it's not like one of the most interesting parts about magic is what it can't do rather than what it can do. And by that, he's saying, all right, so if you're going to introduce a supernatural element, something that doesn't exist in our world, then you have to give it parameters. Otherwise, at the end of the story, if the hero is in trouble, you could say like, but then I discovered a new ability inside my heart of friendship and I defeated him. And like the reader is unsatisfied with that answer. And And like, and it's sort of like, wait, it's so, but the creativity that you can bring within those parameters of what is allowed with these abilities, and so that's what I really try and do with my story. Is I say like, all right, I'm going to introduce this magical ability, but what is the cost of it? Like, what is, if he learns this, if he learns, say, electricity,
Yeah.
then what is stopping him from just throwing lightning bolts all the time? There has to be like a reason here. And so with mine, I have a heavy cost where I was like, okay, if you're drawing on your own knowledge, if you're drawing on what you know about, let's say, lightning, and like ions and what it means to create a reaction and stuff like that, if you're drawing on that, what happens if you draw too much? If I ask for too much for myself? And so it's a form of madness that occurs. And so not a permanent thing, but kind of like, if I'm fighting with somebody and I'm
Interesting.
throwing lightning and I do more than I can handle, then my brain gets flooded with knowledge that I can't collate and I can't like make sense of. So for 10 minutes, I'd be like completely vulnerable.
Interesting.
And and eventually I'd be able to like sit and like make sense of like, no, 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 this is real. And then maybe I could get back in the fight. But there's sort of like, and the more you do it and the more like you fray yourself and the more you overtax yourself, then the more that like you're gonna have to process. It might take a day to be able to like
Wow.
work through it. And so the idea is that the more you study, the better command of it you're going to have, and the more you're going to be able to ask of yourself.
Yep.
So a lot of it is them being in study, and a lot of them is like, what's the reason why a wizard walks around with a big old book that he's always reading? It's because he's essentially like adding to his arsenal and like packing more in his brain.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so and like one of the other things is like Wolverine. Love, like I'm a child of the 80s and the 90s and absolutely loved Wolverine, but at a certain point I stopped liking Wolverine, and the reason why is because in the 80s and 90s it was like, oh, Wolverine was in a fight and he got hurt really badly and he's been out for like 3 days recovering and he's
Yeah.
back, and he's like, but like when the movies were coming out and all that, they're like, a nuke went off and every part of him was blown away except for one cell, and he came back. And I was like, what drama is there here? Like, you're fine, dude. Like,
Yeah.
so like, at least like with or at least like with like Deadpool, there's like a real cost, like to like it's his sanity and stuff like that. So with Wolverine, like I have a character who's very physical and he fights a lot and he gets wounded a lot, but I kind of brought it back to like, okay, he knows he's gonna live through this fight, but he's gonna need to like basically hibernate himself for like 3 days.
Wow.
So like he can choose to be reckless in a battle, but like if he gets like gutted in a way that like makes him vulnerable, then like he could be down on the ground and he couldn't stop any from coming up and like kind of coup de grace him. But like it's kind of like a balance, like how much do I allow myself to be vulnerable for the next few days?
Yeah.
So it's like my little justice for the 80s Wolverine that I loved.
Oh, jeez.
Very cool, man. I like
Like,
that.
yeah, so like
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to have the cost. You have to have the cost of, because all power comes at a cost, realistically. So
Right.
so when you put that in there and you come up with something that I've never heard of that concept before, so it feels very unique to me. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to read that.
Yeah. Well, like I think as fantasy literature gets more sophisticated, I think the fans are expecting more.
Agreed.
And so like there's a show called Avatar, the Last Airbender. You probably heard of it if you haven't seen it, and it's excellent. And
Yes.
they have a magic system that makes sense, and it's definitely about the skill of the bender, and it's about what's available to them, and so like it's not a like it's one of the best ones, but then like there's another one called Full Metal Alchemist that like
I
we're
love
getting a
that.
little dude.
Dude.
That like I was
say
like,
this: the one scene, well, the whole like chapter where forgive me if which parts I get wrong here, but there's the guy who's working on chimeras,
Mhm.
and that whole story and how it ends was literally.
Oh,
That messed me up so bad. Like, I was like bawling. I felt so horrible about this situation. And my girlfriend walks in. She's like, what are you watching? It's got you crying. So she's like, is that a cartoon? I was like, you don't understand.
you
Like,
don't
this is
understand.
insane. It was so messed up, man.
So my sons are moving up in age where they can watch more. Like we just watched My Hero Academia together,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great. And they handled it. There's some heavier parts, but like they're 10. And I was like, hey, this is fine. And then they're like, Dad, I think you're ready to watch. I think we're ready to watch Full Metal Alchemist. And my wife and I look at each other. We're like, no,
No.
you don't understand, buddy. They're like, we're okay with the violence. I'm like, it's not the violence.
No, it's the psychological trauma that
I know.
you'd be potentially exposed to. Yeah.
Come play with us. Come play
Yeah,
with us.
exactly.
I'm like, you're a sweet boy.
Oh,
I
I'm so
can't.
sorry
I
again,
can't.
man.
All right, but like Full Metal absolutely nails the like. There's a cost. There's like here's how this works. Here's the rules. If you break the rules, here's like what's going to happen. And so, but like the creativity that they work within those. Like a lot of times when people hear rules, they think this is going to be constricting
Yeah.
and this is going to be really frustrating. But the truth is, I think that's where imagination can shine the brightest is when you give a confine. Like if a great artist was given, hey, your canvas is 3 inches by 3 inches, that's tough. But they can maybe make something super cool and rad in it. But if you give the canvas too wide, 1 mile by 1 mile, make a picture. Like that's so overwhelming and like what could be possible. Like so, like it's a huge ask of an
Yeah.
artist, and that might take them a lifetime,
Yep.
and like but like it's and to me, I think when you give me like, hey, here are the parameters, like here's like where this works, then you can feel free to be as artistic as you can within that. And what you create within that is so cool. Like that's why I think like the 3 minute song, most songs are around 3 minutes, and what you do with those 3 minutes can vary so wildly. And like it's so neat what artists do with that unit of time.
Oh yeah.
Or even with graphic novels, I recently read um, The Last Ronin, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story,
Yeah.
and I was not again talk about like weeping. Like
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was not expecting to be emotionally compromised
No,
with
myself.
Ninja Turtles. It's
No,
incredible.
definitely. I mean, that's the power of writing is you can draw into
Right.
people's emotions so much.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's
do you care if we go to some people who had some questions from the comments?
absolutely.
All right. First, I want to start with this because this is awesome. This guy said that you look like Chris Evans, so
Oh
that's a nice compliment.
my gosh.
um,
They don't see the lower part.
and
But
then
thank you.
Vinny to the K wants to know what the publishing process has been like.
Oh my gosh. So it has been wild. The publishing process, so first thing I did was I got a mentor because I realized how quickly I was out of my depth, where the writing ended up being the easy part. Uh, and I put that like in italics, like the easy part.
Yeah.
But so um, publishing has changed greatly, and so the wisdom that was maybe 10 years ago is not the wisdom of now. And so I got a mentor. His name, well, his author name is Lewis Pennington, but his real name is Chris Pennington. He's written
I
quite a
won't
few
tell
stories.
anyone.
Yeah, and well, I mean, just to not confuse anybody, like, um, but like he wrote 4 novels, and I just said, hey, so I think I've got a good novel on my hands, but I have no idea what to do next with this. And he's like, oh, okay, like, well, let's talk. And so it used to be, I thought the stigma of self-publishing was that, hey, your story isn't very good, and you can try with self-publishing, but now it is an entirely different thing with with the proliferation of the internet, with ebooks and audiobooks. And so if you go traditional publishing, you sign away a lot of your creative license
That's scary.
They can kind of do what they want with it. Not like entirely, but you lose a lot of control. And I'm not a young man anymore. Like I'm 39, and so like it felt like I was giving away something precious to me, and so like I didn't like the idea. I'm no control freak, but I was also just like, man, if I was 21 and I had a bunch of like, yeah, like let's just give it a shot. So so with self-publishing, I was looking into it, and like what you can make happen with self-publishing is far more creative freedom, and far more like you can keep the production way more manageable, especially since I'm not really a name. Um, if I was someone who was going to have to manage 100,000 orders, that's a nightmare, and that's not my skill set. And I would need employees and all that. And so they were like, for your first book, if you do self-publishing, you can keep a much higher percentage.
Yeah.
And even great authors, their first couple of novels, they'll sell a couple hundred copies and make like something. But it's more about growing a fan base. Then after your fifth or sixth novel, then people are like, okay, now we're getting like big orders. And so it's a long game. So I'm going through a company called Ingram Spark.
Cool.
And they're very like, they have the best everything experience for me. Amazon wanted a lot of control too. They wanted me to be like exclusive to them, and
Yeah.
I didn't know I'm such a like, whoa, don't lock me down.
Yeah, totally. I get that. I mean, that would be the scariest part to me. Me and Tommy have talked about this before because we love to write, and mostly like screenplays, and we always what are we gonna do when we're done, and how are we gonna go about talking to people, and we've just even done like, because we'll always do like improv just kind of to work out scenes, like to write, and then every so often we'll just improv, like practicing walking into like a meeting where someone wants to tell you how to do it. You want to do it, Tommy?
Sure.
All right, you get it. All right.
Like what's the scenario?
All right, how about this? Craig is the person who wants to buy all the rights to your book, and he wants to have control over it, and you are yourself, and you don't like this, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Like already. All right. Action.
All right. Listen here, Craig. I created the story to express a message of positivity, and I would like to have a lot of creativity wrapped around and with the ecosystem that I have created it with. And I think it'd be a more positive direction to keep everything in a bubble, you know?
I think that's a good idea, and I think that's super fun. You can put that like in the credits, but that's not going to move books. So I'm going to need you to negative it up a little bit. We can keep a few scenes of positivity.
Well, yeah, I can lean on the positivity because it is a book about wrestling, per se. But the artist is like, it's not just me in the bubble here. It's the artist. She's the one. I created the words, but she's kind of the main focus here, the one that is like pushing this book.
What you're trying to say is you want to make sure that you and your illustrator still have say over them.
Yeah, like we don't want anything political, like anybody manipulating for political sake. This is just a very positive, very graphic, comic book. It's positivity mixed with wrestling, and kind of the whole idea is that.
Are you pitching this now? Are we still improvising, or are you actually pitching this?
I was going to say, wait, are you making this up, or is this an actual story?
No, this is his actual story, but I'm trying to figure out, are you improvising, or are you pitching the book to him?
I was going along with the scene.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the thing where you got really mad and told him, listen here. Because that was the funny part that I thought you were going to do.
Now, listen here. I've been working my ass off for so long with my friend, and I don't need some big publisher changing every bits and details in my comic book. We've worked our ass off to make this thing awesome. So that's all I'm asking is you guys to produce the comic and not change anything about it. Just leave it the way it is.
It's like, sorry, scene. And that's the fear, isn't it? Because like, well, it's like, well, do I want eyeballs on my work, and how much am I willing to change the story for that? And all like the more your work is elevated, the more people get involved, the more things change, and not always badly. But I mean, changing from a medium to another medium requires a different interpretation of it. And so, and that's why I like the idea of a book, is because like singular author, But when I got an editor who was good, and he told me, he was looking through it, he said, "Hey, this character who I loved," he goes, "This feels like second book content." And he's like, "I'm not saying delete her, but she's not pushing the plot forward in a way that this is just fun, but we're trying to like, I had overwritten it." And so it's like, like the writing word is like, you have to kill your darling, and he's like, it's so that kind of creative input was good. Like, I think he was right. Yeah. But also like me, like copy pasting and removing her like hurt.
Sure. I know that feeling, and that I really feel you on that too, because I feel like that's sometimes when the fountain is flowing very well, you don't want to stop. You're like, I've been trying to write a couple pages, and it's been a couple days, and here I am now writing, and you don't want to cut it out. But at the same time, I've always felt the same way, that having someone else, almost no matter what I do, having someone that I can look at and go, "Hey, can you give me your honest feedback on that?" I feel like having people that you can trust to do that is one of the biggest blessings you can have in life.
Right.
In like anything. Don't worry, we're having a couple audio difficulties, and Tommy's really worried about it.
It happens. It's all right.
But someone asked, they wanted to ask you, first one was, how did the editorial process go? You kind of were just talking about that. And then did you have a big planning process? Like, were you really outlining middle, beginning, end, or did you do a lot of spontaneous writing?
So yes and no. I'll answer that first, and then kind of, because that goes into the editing.
Yeah.
So I had an idea of what I wanted to end with. I had the ending in mind, and I found that to be infinitely more helpful than where to start. So I had this big climactic thing, and kind of like and how it changes the world, and how like, where do we go from here kind of thing. And I worked my way backwards. But my wife and I, you'll hear her come up a lot. She literally was nearly a co-author on this. Mm-hmm. And I offered it. I'm like, I can kind of say she's like, "No, you're doing the writing." Like, but she and I went through, and chapter by chapter, said like, all right, if we want to get to this place, what things need to happen first in order for this to be organic, in order for this to feel earned. Because you can't just put a big climactic thing in and have the reader resonate with that. Otherwise, it's like, how did we get here? So I am not a natural outliner. I don't normally think in those terms, but it made the writing process so easy, where I had every chapter, I had the point, like here's what I need to accomplish in this chapter. Here's the people who are in it, and where we're going to end with it. And so whether it's a cliffhanger chapter ending, and then he bursts through the door, and like, party time. And so, no,
that's
but awesome. So like I started, when I sat down to write, I had a whole outline, and I would try and do a chapter a day, but really I would keep myself to 1,000 to 1,500 words a day. And then I would stop, even if I was feeling like kind of in the flow, because what I do then is like, I spend the rest of my day doing other stuff, but I'm still like working on it in the back of my head. So when I'm ready to sit down the next day, I'm just like, all right, let's go. And like, and so,
you made sure not to burn yourself out. It sounds like.
Yeah. So I would, here in Black Mountain, there's a wonderful place called Dynamite Coffee.
Oh yeah.
I would drop the kids off at school, which isn't a euphemism. I did that. And so I would come back home and I would stop at I can't work at home.
Yeah.
I'm just way too distractible. But I would I would, buy a coffee at Dynamite and then I would type for around 2 hours.
Damn.
And so but that was the other thing is I'm a very distractible person. And I'm in a semi-social place. That's like why I couldn't be in the Drippolator at all, because that's like a social hub.
Yeah.
Drippolator is great, but there's way too many people I know there.
Oh yeah.
Dynamite's more in and out. But I would wear these big headphones that are like neon green.
Nice.
I call them my hot girl headphones.
Jeez.
You guys heard that phrase?
Yeah.
So the idea is that when girls go to the gym and they're trying to work out and not be bothered, they would have like earbuds in, and men wouldn't see that they're working out, or they wouldn't see that they were listening to something, so they would walk up like, hey, what's up, what's going on? And so they'd be like, oh, see. And so girls started wearing bigger and bigger headphones to indicate I'm not here to chat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leave me alone.
So
I thought that's where you're going with that. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, let me put my gamer neon green headphones, and I would face a wall.
Yep.
And I would have lo-fi music on.
Oh yeah.
Because it needs to be music that I cannot even just recognize at all. I like lo-fi, it's great, but it drowned everything, and phone on airplane mode, and I could get 2 hours of work done that way. But otherwise, if any of those factors weren't present, I just couldn't do it.
I get it. I mean, it requires a lot of focus, or else it might start sending you into madness.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And the editing process was, I had 3 people who I'm sure were going to they were my beta readers, and when you're writing and creating something, it makes sense to you, and how all this is happening. But I needed another set of eyeballs on it. And so when they read it, they sent it back to me, and I got 3 different opinions. And I definitely found a lot of I thought I was being clearer here. I thought this was making more sense. And so they were kind of how are we getting from here to here? Why is this person upset now? And so that was a first round for rough draft. That was very helpful. And then I found an editor on Upwork. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but yeah, and I said hey, here's my budget, here's the work. And so I found a really excellent editor that in 3 weeks, he reworked a lot and really helped me with kind of the stuff that doesn't come as naturally to me, because I'm not a natural editor. It's not my strength, and I can do it, but it's going to take me 3 months when a normal editor would take 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the glory of a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was my first hey, I'm willing to give out this much creative freedom, have you be able to speak into this work, because I know that I'm out of my depth. And if I said no, this character needs to stay in this, I think I would have readers that kind of got bored towards the middle, and he's we can streamline this a lot better, and I think we'll get to the points that you want to get to. And so it hurt, but I think they're right.
Yeah, I mean, and that takes a lot of trust and also a lot of courage, to let other people play your game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it kind of, I always like that analogy that everything, we're all just trying to play different games, whatever that game is. And it's really easy to play on your own because you know all the rules in your head, you know how you want it to turn out, but eventually it's not going to be fun until you bring someone else into it. But then now you have to give up all of that control so that you can actually play the game. And it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. It's definitely the scariest in a strange sense. I don't know, scary is a weird word, but one of the scariest things was when I first sent it to somebody, I shouldn't have done this, but I just wrote, all right, here's the first few chapters. And then I had a tagline. I said, please be kind. I'm I'm asking for your criticism, but not really. That was 3 years ago. And I was don't be mean. And so now I can't wait for the internet to get a hold of it. And they're always nice and kind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna have the classic skew of people that are like, awesome, I love this. You know, you're gonna have the person that's like takes it and sets it on someone's chest, is like, read this, you're gonna like it. You know,
Right,
like that.
yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
gonna do that, but then you're also gonna have the person that's like, what the fuck? This doesn't make sense. And you're like, okay, this guy, you
Right,
go write a book, guy. You go write a
right.
book and prove it.
Well,
Now,
there's a. Oh yeah, go ahead.
do you have any with the launch of this book? Do you have any plans for a sequel to this book?
Yes, I'm outlining it right now.
Ooh,
Epic.
lovely.
So I definitely have a 3-book arc that the Grimoire's Heir is. I have a name for like the saga, I guess, of what it is.
Okay.
But I didn't put it in. I sprinkled it a little bit in the book, like, but like I didn't want to like say it because I up until like 6 months ago I wasn't sure that anybody was even going to see this. So I was like, this was a book that I did that one time. But now that like I've been spending all this time and like I'm like, man, now that I have everything established and now that I have the rules and the world set up, now I can really run with this. And so I have 3 books total, including this one that I'm outlining.
Wow.
And I'm about 20% into a different novel that's science fiction, like in space.
Damn.
Yeah, and so it's like I've been, and again with those, like, here's what I think would be really neat to have happen, and then like, all right, well, how do we get there? And so I've been working backwards from all of these endings, and like, and it usually starts with me saying to my wife, like, hey, would it be neat if there was an end of a story where this thing happened? And she was like, okay. And it matters because like, and she would be the first one to kind of like I feel like we work creatively well because like I always say, like, I shovel a bunch of coal.
Yeah.
And then she finds the diamonds in it. She's like, these things were great.
Yeah.
You should keep those. Get rid of the rest of that. I'm like, all right, cool.
She's your true editor. She's your ghost editor.
She really is.
Yeah.
There's I mean, that was like her, she's an English major and all that, and she's like, well, you took a page to write a paragraph's worth of information, so you should rework that. She's like, it's a good amount of, it's that paragraph will be great, but you should get rid of that other stuff.
Yeah, I get it, man. That's cool. What did you have?
Now, Justin, should we play the wheel questions with him?
Okay, yeah, are you down to play this game? We have a wheel.
Absolutely.
All right. And I have it up here on the screen. I don't know if you probably can't see it right now, so you're just gonna have to trust us. All right. All right. So basically, on the wheel are a bunch of different questions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to have to answer whatever it lands on. You ready?
Okay.
All
yes.
Right. You tell me when, and I'll spin it.
Spin.
Bam. It's going.
Did you guys come up with these?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. The best musical artist ever. What is your opinion?
Okay. Sometimes that depends on my mood. But in this moment today, I am going to say Sleeping at Last.
Ooh.
Which is on the, not obscure, but they have an album where each track is named after a planet, and so the song Sun and the song Saturn can change my mood to just about anything. And if you'll allow a close second place, the band Mount Joy. Mount Joy has been my go-to driving music.
Aww.
And it's been incredible. Like,
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for another one?
It's still stressing me out. I'm like, but then there's also
Don't worry, yeah, we'll change it. We'll get a new one for you, and then you don't have to worry.
Okay. 1999, Blink 182. Nothing
Ooh.
better happened to me.
All right, let's see. We have. Tell us an embarrassing story.
Oh man, which era of my life, of adulthood?
Maybe one that has a nice lesson. Maybe one that you might write into one of your future novels.
Okay, so are you guys familiar with the Montreat area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's this great lake called Lake Susan, and there's this really cool like runoff area. And when I was in college, we would set up these big water balloon fights that we called Peter Pan versus the Pirates Day, where everybody would dress up like Lost Boys or pirates. It was fantastic. And we would fill up water balloons, and I was the balloon guy for the pirates. And so I had around 5,000 empty water balloons in my dorm room. And some friends of mine were like, "Hey, it's still a few weeks away, but let's fill up a few and go like surprise somebody, like hit them with a water balloon. That'll be college dumb stuff." And so our school Montreat was on the conservative side for PDA and stuff like that. And so that's a nice way of saying it. And so we knew this area where students would go and make out and other things, and it was down at the bottom of Lake Susan. And so we're like, someone's going to be making out there. Let's go like throw a water balloon at them from the top of
Yeah,
like
you can
the lake.
bomb them because it's the damn waterfall.
Like,
you're talking about at the bottom of the waterfall.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's and we're like, there's 5 of us, and so we all dressed in black and we snuck and we did this like, this is gonna be so funny, like stupid guy stuff, and we flew through the water balloons and just ran because before when we were about to throw it, the guy down there was easily the most muscled out dude that we knew. Like homeboy would wreck you. And so he and his girlfriend were like making out down there, and we're like, you shouldn't make out, and like and so like we threw it and we ran, and we heard someone scream, and we're like, haha, fun, and we all hid underneath this building. And this is where the embarrassing part comes. And then we hear cops and sirens, and we're like, oh, we messed up. And it's so we ran back to our dorm, and we're like, what happened? And so we like all changed back into normal clothes. We're all like sweaty and kind of dirty. And someone runs up to my dorm and like knocks on the door. And I was like, open it. And like we open it, and there's a guy there, and he goes, hey, were you guys out throwing water balloons tonight? We're all like sweaty and just like, no. And like he's like, are you sure? You gotta tell me the truth, man, because someone's hurt. And I was like, oh gosh. And so like I won't name anybody, but the guys that we went with, they're like, hey man, we have deniability. We're not. But my roommate and I have like the most, like if we did something wrong, it's gonna destroy our insides. Yeah. And so we're like, well, we got to go confess. We got to go see if we hurt somebody. And so we did that like 100-yard walk across the campus of like, so we go up to the cops. There's like 3 cars there, and we're like, I'm gonna call my dad from jail. Yeah. And I'm gonna be like, I'm in jail for throwing water balloons, Dad, because I'm an idiot. And so we walk up to the cops, and we're like, heard you guys might be looking for us. And the cops are like, yeah, a couple of guys fitting your description. We're like, yeah. And then and then the cops go, no, we're just messing with you. Someone got lost in the woods. Why? What did you guys do? And we're like, and he's like, and we're like, we threw some water balloons, and the cops are like, I'm pretty sure that's not illegal, guys. I'm like, yes, that's true. It's not illegal. I suppose everything's fine then. And the cops are like, wait, what happened? And we're like, nothing. Yeah. Nothing happened.
Damn.
And then we went and found that couple later, and they're like, it was you guys. You guys really scared us. That wasn't okay. And I'm like, so sorry.
Jeez.
I was like, what if I hit them in the eyeball and like they're like have to go to that like.
So what if they're allergic to water?
Oh no, like
no allergic to latex.
They're gremlins.
Like, what if so like it was like the worst like 20 minutes of my life.
Oh jeez.
Classic.
I was just trying to be a pranky boy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's funny.
That's one of the most embarrassing stories.
I mean, I get it. It's intense.
One time I asked a girl to be my girlfriend by giving her a Dixie Chick CD because she loved the Dixie Chicks, and on the inside the note said, would you be my Dixie Chick?
Hey, that's just Riz, man. That's not
damn
even embarrassing. That's just impressive.
It didn't work. That is not my current wife.
Damn.
Current
well,
wife, my wife.
Luckily, you found your Dixie Chick. So
I did find her.
Yeah, and she's a good, and she helps you write awesome novels. So
She's incredible. I bet if I did say that to her, she probably, well, she's from LA, so I don't know if she would like understand it, but like she probably would have said yes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Should we do another spin, or do you have
Sure.
more questions?
We'll do one more question.
Okay, one more
Yeah.
question. All right, here we go. Got the spinning happening, and okay, we've done. Oh, okay. Did we? Oh, we did that when we were playing earlier.
Yeah.
All right, this is a fun one to end on. Tell a secret.
Okay.
You see,
it's so mean. It's the meanest one.
I'm gonna make sure it's a personal secret, so I'm not exposing it. Well, speaking of my wife, there's a lot. Should I keep it? Should I keep it on theme with the novel, or just in general?
in general, or if you feel like you want to keep with the novel.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it. I'll do an easy one. This exposes me as a bad person, and if I had built up any goodwill in this show, I'll lose it.
No.
When I walk into Ingles, and I walk past their like fresh department, there's a big tub of like, you open it up and you scoop out and you dig like the chocolate covered peanuts.
Yeah.
You.
I snag one every time.
Yeah, buddy, I'm with you. No, I thought those were there for us to graze on. He always gets mad at me for doing that too.
No grazing allowed.
I wash my hands frequently, but like my kids are old enough to know. They're like, Dad, I don't think you could do that. I'm like, it's cool, buddy, don't worry.
Yeah, you're like, no, they know that this. It's quality control. You're just making
Right.
sure they're still good in there. That's a good one. I will back you in that and say you're not alone.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so, but yeah, I've never seen anybody else do it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want a whole cup of them. I just want the one.
Yeah, just give me the one. Satisfy the sweet tooth.
And then I suppose I wrote the first. My other two I guess secrets on theme would be, I wrote the first 70 pages or so of these characters in the story in the novel while my wife was pregnant. We were having twins, like I said, and there wasn't anything like life-threatening, but with twins, there's a lot of like, hey, you need to come and do like 8 ultrasounds. And whenever a dad goes to an ultrasound and they see their kid, it's a magical experience. But after like the 8th time in like a month, it's like, babe, do I need to cry this time? And so, but I didn't want to like leave her because she was just sitting there for like 2 hours while they did all these measurements. It was a process. So I just like would open up my laptop and just like, and so I wrote the first 70-ish pages in a room where my wife is like, well, what about the femur development? Is that proper? And I look up like, it is. It looks fine to me. And
I'm just writing a book here right now,
No,
honey.
So you could basically say that thanks to the twins you wrote this book.
Honestly, it was. I mean, like, I didn't want to be on social media. That's felt blasé.
Yeah.
And like, it felt like, you're doing great, babe. You're doing.
Yeah. I'm with you. I feel like at a certain point, what are we supposed to do? You know, I'm with you.
Right.
I feel like that. I feel like you just took a weight off a lot of other guys' chests too. That were
Right.
like, I felt this. I was doing stuff too. You know.
I super paid attention when it mattered, you know. But like, even the doctor was like, I mean, we're just doing measurements to make sure they're growing correctly. And they were zoomed in so far I couldn't even tell what they were looking at. And so I was like, is it cool? Like, I'll hold your hand when I need to. And so yeah, the book started out as a Dungeons and Dragons campaign slash lore of the world that I was creating, that all of a sudden I was like, this isn't really a D&D campaign anymore. It's more like a regular novel. And because I was changing too much from D&D stuff to like my own things, and then I was like, well, it's not even D&D anymore. So
yeah,
that's a bonus secret. I try not to tell people because I'm afraid everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's D&D dork stuff. I'm like,
no, I wouldn't.
it is, but
Wasn't Stranger Things technically D&D nerd stuff. So I mean,
Yeah,
that was pretty
absolutely.
popular. That was pretty popular. So I think you don't have to worry too much about that.
As a D&D nerd, when Stranger Things came out, I was like, people are gonna get the language, and they're not gonna think I'm as in line with the devil. As
Yeah.
I'd answer a lot of questions by being a D&D fan. They're like, oh, like that's Satan.
Any information you got?
So the GoFundMe is the main thing right now. You can find me on Instagram, Cregolas, Cregolas. But the GoFundMe is the main way to find me. If you even throw in like $5, we're gonna do a big book release party early February. We're looking at the 2nd or the 3rd right now. We are working on getting the WNC Outdoor Collective for the book release.
Awesome.
I work there part time, and it's an awesome courtyard. It's a really cool place. When I was like finishing up the book, I just kept like, man, it'd be so cool to have like the release here, and so it's gonna be like a big party. So if you put in $10, I'll send you the ebook. If you put in 20, we'll send you the audiobook and the ebook. Every tier includes the one underneath it. The audiobook is recorded by my wife. She has a brilliant speaking voice.
Nice.
People have compared it to the good kind of NPR voice. There's some boring NPR voice. I'm like, wait, and they're like, no, like the good one. I'm like, okay. And then at $20, it's those. At $35, you get one of the first physical copies, which I'm ordering, I believe, tonight or tomorrow. I'm putting in an order of 100. Past that, if you do 75, if you do the next rung, we have a bunch of like really cool art prints and stickers that if you buy those, anything above this, I give 10% of the proceeds to the artist, the two young ladies, Gabriella and Olivia, because they did such good work, and they charged initially so little, and I was like, listen, I can't underpay you guys this badly. Allow me some way to like pay you. And so anything above that, I throw 10% of it to them. And then at 75, I'm making a t-shirt. And then I have a ridiculous one that's like the $500 rung, which, you know, if you do the $500 rung, if you get together with your friends and you do the $500 rung, I'll allow you to name a character in book 2.
Yes.
With the big caveat of thematically appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how dangerous it is to give the internet creative freedom.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have a very let's just say you won't want to type it.
Yeah. But like if there's someone you love, if there's someone like it'd be cool to put their name in a book, I'll even like describe them as they look. And you know, like I didn't know what to offer past 75. I was like, okay, for $500, you can put someone's name in there.
I think that's awesome.
But yeah, the GoFundMe is right around 3,000 right now. My initial goal was 25.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been overwhelming that to be able to see like that much belief and support. And at first too, I thought maybe people were just being nice to me, but they would cite old like stuff that I had written, stuff that I've, you know, like little things. Someone brought up, and this is like the poll, my MySpace profile from, I don't know, I was 2004, where I had a zombie group, because that's back when like zombie movies were like the thing.
Yeah.
And whenever you joined our zombie group, I would do like a little like Tommy excels at these skills in the apocalypse, and I would do like a little write-up for you, and I would put like you in a little story. And so someone's like the MySpace zombie stories are back. I'm like, I think I'm better since then, but yes, they are back.
Heck yeah, man, that's really cool.
So yeah, the GoFundMe is the best way, but if not, we are doing a book release on February 2nd, if that's Saturday, or February 3rd. You're invited to come to it. We'll have like physical copies there if you don't have time otherwise. The Outdoor Collective is incredible, awesome place for it. And then I'm working on getting the physical books into our local bookstore, Sassafras, which is the most adorable bookstore in the entire world.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I think that's the best way to support it right now.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
All
most
right.
definitely.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
everybody check him out. Go to the GoFundMe, throw some money if you believe in it, which you should. Again, this is the artwork right here. It's on the screen. We have links to all that stuff in the description below. And Craig, it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks
Oh,
so
it
much for
was. It
having
was
me, guys.
amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll
All
have you
right.
back after the release and after it gets going and for all your future ones too, all right?
I can't wait. That'd be awesome. Thanks, guys.
Most
See-
definitely.
Thanks so much, man. We'll
Yeah.
see you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.
What an interview and what a guest.
Yeah, what an awesome guy.
Right out of the park there.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Craig. Thanks to everyone else who took part in putting that together. As he said, it was a team effort.
Most definitely.
I'm excited. I'm excited to do it, and I know that I ordered the audiobook, so we'll when we do some long drives, we'll listen to the audiobook and we'll check it out.
Most definitely.
Heck yeah. Well, Tommy, that's our interview portion of the show. I kind of figured we could still do some of the rest of the show and do a little bit of
Would you mind if I had to pee real quickly?
okay, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah, I've been holding it in for the whole entire interview.
It's funny because the mic's just still going.
Damn you, Justin!
I know.
Damn you! Fucker.
I'm just gonna stand here and awkwardly stare at the camera for a while. Everyone, again, everything's in the description below. Please check that out. Check it out. Support him, especially if you're a fantasy person. He's a super creative guy, so I promise it's gonna be good. Yeah, and make sure you like the video. Make sure you share it. Send it to some friends. Subscribe, of course, and do the notifications so that you know when we go live, because we always love when you guys watch. I'm gonna check the chat here real quick. The P's and Q's, yes, Lajewski. Ethan, where is Tyler? Tyler sent me a photo. He got held up at his job. I don't know if you can see this. It's a car upside down here on the road. So he's taking care of business there. So, yeah, he's not going to be on there. If you guys want to build up some questions here, go ahead. I'm also going to throw this on real quick. If you want to call in, that's the number right there. You can call in. Also, you follow us on Instagram at the Super Fun Time Show. We're also on Twitter, X, and Facebook as well. But if you want to call us, you can either follow us and call us on Instagram, or you can dial that number. Either way, it will work. I just have to accept your friend request on Instagram. So maybe give me a heads up if you've done that. Tommy's back. Here, Tommy, go ahead.
A big black red wall is gonna go across the camera.
Keep him entertained for a minute, Tom.
Oh boy. Whew.
You got the mic to yourself.
Oh, it's always good to relieve your bowels, you know? Like, it's just that final release of urine is just, my bladder, yeah. Sorry, my bladder, it's just, sometimes, I try to control when I use the bathroom, like I hold it in sometimes, and they say, you shouldn't hold it in, and I'm like, but I want to make, I mean, I want to make it stronger, so if I'm on a long car ride and I can't stop, or someone doesn't want to stop, of course, any of my friends are not that narrow-minded to be like, we're in a hurry, we need to get somewhere. Oh, jeez. Yeah. You know what gets me fired up is when you're on a long road trip with a friend and then they're the ones that are in control and they won't stop for you. That drives me nuts, honestly. I'm like, come on. I'm like riding with you. You're driving. You should be able to stop for me. Or else I'm going to take my dangle and I'm going to stick it out your window. And it's probably going to get urine all over your car. And it's going to be on you because you didn't stop to let me use the bathroom.
Well then, let that be known, folks. If you take Tommy on the road and you do not let him pee, he will just pull. What was that movie? Rat Race, where he made her poop out the window.
Yeah, well, of course, she had to poop, and she said, "I'm coyoteing," and
No, not coyoting, groundhogging.
Groundhogging. Oh my gosh! Oh, I hate you for this. I hate you so much.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty gross. I thought we could do another segment of what the, and I could show you some stuff on the internet.
Sure. The heck was that?
Dude, I don't know.
No, something must have fell.
I was gonna say, I don't know, bro.
Where's Tyler again?
Tyler's. It's funny because I just told them Tyler is working. He was unable to make it today, sadly.
You have been forgiven, Tyler.
All right, here, check this out.
This is the earthquake recently happened in Japan, am I right?
Yep.
Holy crap.
Did you see that car, though? I thought someone, when I was just scrolling through, I thought someone was banging in that car.
Wow. The tectonic plates are just rubbing up against themselves, and they're saying that has there been a tsunami yet, or has
there's been all those big floods, like in California. I think they were all getting flooded out.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, hearts go out to all y'all. Okay, this one I thought was hilarious. All right.
Yeah.
It says there are only 20 stealth bombers in the world, but this one got stuck. This one got caught by Google Maps. And it could just show you. That's gross, dude. You can see just this Google Maps caught a stealth bomber.
Damn.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
I know, dude. You would never expect that. Are you laughing at your fart or at the situation? I think you're laughing at your fart.
I'm sorry.
I should have known it was going to happen.
It slipped.
Yeah, it slipped. It always slips.
It does slip. I have a very talented butthole.
Okay, dude. This is an artist who I would love to have on the show one time. Really crazy art. Watch this. Watch what this guy does. It's all like 3D. You see that?
Oh, so yeah, I think I've seen this guy on TikTok. I think possibly.
This guy's unreal.
I've seen some of these videos on TikTok.
I think that's one of the this is some of the coolest stuff I've seen. I love it.
Damn.
Hey,
some of those videos that I was showing you the other day, the stop motion, are hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude, we got to get that guy on here.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We already did that one. We already did that one. Oh, I thought this was crazy.
Whee!
Dude, this is this old salt mine, and they turned it into like a recreation area. Look at this.
Wow. So that's like underneath the ground.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Like miles underground.
Damn.
Yeah. You know, I have a theory that humans actually lived like that for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. I bet we did.
Well, maybe the cavemen did, but
exactly. But we always think of them as like dumb. But I bet they were living in some dope spaces. Maybe not like that, but something like this.
I like to think they were like Fred Flintstone, I'm like, if you had cars that, well, of course they had to use their feet to pull
Oh,
their
I got
cars,
camera.
so they
I'm
had
watching
very
the-
strong leg ligaments. Did I get that wrong? Ligaments,
Brain connections.
brain connections. Yes.
All right, check this out.
Wow. Not a place to. Oh wow.
Look at it, it's just going right over all his food.
Damn. You know, and the thing
And then
is,
look at this.
and they just reopen it up like after the train leaves. Like, that is not a place to set your grocery market up.
Apparently it is, my man. Look at that.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't even think you'd fit in there right now, dude. I wonder where that is. I don't even know.
Looks like some third world country.
Brutal. All right, how about this one?
Mm.
All right. This place, it's a town, a village called Viganella in Italy. And it's like got so many mountains around it that it's always dark.
Ooh.
So they put a giant mirror up on the side of the mountain and it reflects the light down
Wow.
onto the town.
So they don't really have real sunlight.
No, they're getting it from this mirror.
That's insane. That would that would drive me nuts. Like, I would just go crazy.
Yeah, you'd be hiking up to the top of that mountain to get some sun every day, man.
Well, I'm not much of a sun guy because, you know, I'm more of a pasty white kind of guy.
Then why would it drive you crazy?
Well, no, it being dark, it not being light. I have to see where I'm going. I'm going to run into things. Oops. Sorry, Justin.
Just knock it into everything. Oh, dude, this guy was an absolute madman. Check this guy out.
Wow.
It's like a little market. He's like fixing everybody's stuff that brings it to him. I love this lady just pushing the pressure cooker in his face, not even waiting for him to finish.
What is it, just fixing it?
But it's like but he's such a showman. No, that's why I like it. So I think it's so funny. What an absolute madman. Dude, this guy's gotta have a movie about it. We gotta write this guy into a story. We gotta tell Craig to write this guy into a story.
Oh, damn.
Can you imagine, dude?
The mechanic.
Dude, but just like an absolute animal.
Almost, definitely. Looks like,
Oh,
you need to
dude,
donate.
okay.
Looks like you need to donate $500 to him.
Yeah, check this out.
Ships on vigor of the waves of skim and barren summits to the verdant plain.
Dude, he killed another buck. And the guy's head's still attached to him. Because their antlers got twisted up.
Wow.
And he's walking around with this dude's... How insane is that?
And he can't really walk up to that critter. Like, he would kill you.
It would be pretty hard to get that off him, I agree. I mean, I'm guessing, like, those antlers are huge. They're probably just totally intertwined.
The huge.
Huge.
Oh, wait a minute. It's time for
Uh-oh.
Little Trump.
It's Little Trump?
Yeah, Little Trump. Hello, everybody. I want to say welcome to 2024. And I want to tell you that this is the time now to back your favorite President-elect, Donald J. Trump. And I want to say we're going to bring this back. We're going to bring back the economy. We're going to keep building the wall. Racist! You're fake. You know that? You are absolutely fake. And there is no racism here at all. The media has been scrutinizing my businesses. And I am going to keep doing what I am doing. I don't have to do any interviews or do any reporting. I'm Donald J. Trump, and I want to say it's going to be a great year. 2024, we are coming back to the White House. It's going to be amazing. Huge. There
There he goes. Tiny Trump.
Yep.
Or Little Trump. Is that what his name is?
Yeah, little Trump.
Little Trump. Well, that's always fun, man.
Most definitely.
What else has been on your mind lately, man?
Just here on the channel, like just doing stuff and just kind of, I've been making TikToks, here and there, I don't know if you ever want to, like, show some of my TikToks like I do. That'd be kind of funny.
We can do that in the future.
Call Tommy's TikTok corner and see what Tommy has made on TikTok, because I know we show some of the videos here through the stories.
Yeah. Here, check this. I got another video for you. I think you're gonna like this one. I like this guy.
How I feel, so I guess the best thing I can tell you is you're talking to Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Now give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
I think Ric Flair is one of those guys that really sets the standards.
Dude, this guy literally just does a whole Ric Flair and then just blasts a ball over 480 yards.
Wow.
They're all sliding and flatter down there.
Somebody asked me before how I feel, so I guess the best thing I can tell you is you're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Now give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Damn.
I thought that was so funny, dude. I laughed so hard when I saw it. I thought of you immediately.
Oh, damn.
Well, man, that's all I got for you today.
Oh, really?
I mean, I could probably show you more. Do you want more?
Oh, I'm good, man.
All right. No, I don't want more.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go
I
back
want
to the.
more
Let's
of you.
settle down.
Yeah. I'm messing around with you.
All right,
buddy.
here we got some questions. Let's go to the chat real quick.
All right.
A fan wants to know, if you could replace all of the grass in the world with something else, what would it be, and why?
Maybe something edible?
Yeah, I knew this. I almost suggested. Okay, so like what? French fries?
No, maybe candy. Candy grass.
Little candy grass?
Yeah, because then as you walk, you just come nom.
What does it taste like?
Different flavors maybe.
It's just all different. It's like Skittles.
But you have to watch out that there's something in the grass. You have to watch out, or maybe that's disgusting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are dogs still allowed? You're gonna be allowed to poop on grass still at that point?
No, it'll be outlawed.
No more. You'd like that anyway. Tommy's not really a dog poop kind of guy.
No, I'm not. I hate dog poop, and if you don't pick up your poop, you are scummy.
I agree. At least put it in somewhere where people aren't gonna step in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody that walks their dog down around Black Mountain, and they let their dog just poop right in the middle of the sidewalk. It's so rude.
It's nasty. Like, come on, people. Like, that's not. There's not. I mean, I know it feels warm and squishy, but ugh.
Ugh. All right, we got one more comment. This is Onslaught 43.
Yeah.
They want you to bring back the vlogs, man. So you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to bring back the vlogs. The people want it.
Well, most definitely, I'll try to see what I can do. I just need 2 things: a good quality camera, and some good quality editing software, and just a constant thing of content that I can go somewhere. Because right now, my life consists of going to work, coming home, hearing from Justin, doing something with him, or like just chilling. I just kind of, my life is not really fun right now. I do stuff with Justin all the time. We go out to the bars and do stuff, go to the jams occasionally. But,
it's true.
right now, my life has not been fun, really.
Well, we're gonna change that. 2024.
2024, we're gonna
Hey,
try.
speaking of that,
Yes.
do you think that you can give the people the first inside fact of 2024?
Inside fact. Okay, inside fact. Inside fact, when I was born, I was I struggled to come out into the world because I was stubborn.
Go on.
Yeah, like my biological mother fought to push me out because I was being stubborn.
You're trying to stay in there. You're comfy.
It
sounds like me trying to get you like to leave the house after you've already gotten into PJs.
Yeah, so I was a stubborn. I had a stubborn birth.
Well, interesting inside fact.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, it is. It is, and always has been since yesterday, January of 2024. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like you should probably give an inspirational speech to end the show.
Okay.
And, just kind of let people, like, give people some, like, good, uplifting thoughts moving into
The new year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Do you need to think about it at all, or
I got
are you
it.
feeling pretty good? You're feeling.
In this new year, you have goals. Think of those goals as mazes, and you're going through those mazes, and you're going through those struggles. So the fact is that you want to get through that maze as fast as you can, but you want to pace yourself, because sometimes those goals will burn you out. So the fact is that you push yourself.
Keep going.
At the same time, you can push yourself to the full limit of what you are. And you could go the distance as a person. And that you are a warrior. You are a musician. You are a wrestler. You are what you are. And your goals will not define you. You will define your goals by what you are. You will lay out the competition no matter what. Take no prisoners, because I believe in you and because you are $1 million. And let me tell you something. You got big brass balls. And when no one messes with the brass balls, because they're big and firm and they clang together every single day, and that means that you are amazing. Or you have a female brass thing down there, you know, you are strong and powerful,
Lady balls.
lady balls. You got lady balls, man balls. They might, you are a conqueror of worlds. You can go the bottom line. As always, folks, this has been the Super Fun Time Show with me and Justin.
Hey.
We'll catch you later, folks.
See you guys.
It's super fun time. It's super fun time. It's super fun time. It's super fun time. It's super